Welcome to this visual summary of the Cuebid guide on secure communication. This video walks you through the guide on a high level so you can quickly get an overview of the content and the key highlights. Make sure you download the complete guide for a deeper understanding of secure communication and, how strengthening it can help you sleep better at night. It's a common way of thinking. You have a network, so it must be secure, right? But this quote here really gets to the heart of the problem. A network without proper security is just like a highway with no rules. It's pretty much an open invitation for chaos. And in today's digital world, that old assumption isn't just wrong, it's downright dangerous. The reality is, the whole game has changed. The threat landscape has evolved so dramatically. Attacks on our communication pathways, things like VPNs, firewalls, even unprotected DNS traffic, are now one of the most common ways that attackers get into a network. And what that means is that all those technical details, like where you decide to place a firewall or how you handle remote access, have become direct and pretty significant business risks. So how do you actually build a network that not only works, but actively protects your business? Well, it all starts with a few core security pillars. These are the fundamental building blocks of what you could call your digital fortress. First up, let's talk about the firewall. But we really need to update how we think about it. See, the modern firewall isn't just some simple barrier at the edge of your office anymore. A much better way to think of it is like an advanced, constantly manned border control station. It's the central hub that's inspecting all the traffic, coming in, going out, and even the traffic moving around inside your network to make sure only authorized, safe communication is allowed to pass through. Next up is segmentation, and honestly, this is one of the most powerful strategies you can possibly implement. It's simply the practice of dividing your network up into smaller, isolated zones. Now, why would you do that? Because it contains the damage. If an attacker manages to breach one part of your network, segmentation stops them from getting a free pass to absolutely everything else. And this image right here illustrates the concept perfectly. I want you to think of your network like a big ship. Segmentation creates watertight bulkheads. So if one compartment gets breached and starts taking on water, the bulkheads contain that flood. The rest of the ship, it stays afloat and totally operational. It's such a simple but powerful principle for business resilience. So the final core pillar is really a mindset shift. It's called Zero Trust, or ZTNA. And the principle is incredibly simple. Never trust, always verify. It doesn't matter if a user is inside or outside your network. Every single request for access is challenged and it's verified. It's kind of like needing to swipe your ID badge to get into every single room and every floor of a secure building, not just when you walk in the front door. Okay, so we've got our core pillars: the modern firewall, segmentation, and that zero trust mindset. But let's be honest, these ideas were born in a world with a single central office. How do we apply them to today's reality of multiple locations, tons of cloud apps, and a workforce that could literally be anywhere? How do we connect and protect everyone, everywhere? In the old days, all of our traffic had to be routed back through a central headquarters, which was slow, super inefficient, and created all sorts of bottlenecks. But with the rise of cloud applications and remote work, that model just doesn't cut it anymore. Modern approaches like SD-WAN and SASE completely change the game by creating intelligent, direct, and most importantly, secure routes for all of your data. So what's the actual difference between these two key terms you hear all the time? Well, think of it like this. SD-WAN is like a smart GPS for your data traffic. It's always finding the fastest, most reliable path. SASE, on the other hand, takes that smart GPS and builds an entire security platform around it, and it's all delivered from the cloud. So you get the smart routing and the security all in one neat, integrated service. This brings us to a really common tool, the VPN. And the risk it can create is, well, it's pretty interesting. As you can see here, a traditional VPN is a lot like giving someone a single key to the entire building. Once they're inside, they can often access way more than they actually need to. So if that user's login details get compromised, the attacker now has the keys to your entire digital kingdom. Let's just look at a quick side-by-side comparison. A VPN often grants this wide open access to the network. SASE, however, gives really specific access only to the applications a person needs based on those zero trust principles we just talked about. A VPN makes you bolt on extra security features, while SASE has them built in from the ground up. And that's what makes it the more secure and scalable choice for any modern workforce. All right, let's dive into a topic that is absolutely critical, but for some reason often flies under the radar. I'm talking about the domain name system, or DNS. You can think of it as the internet's phone book, translating names like Cuebid.se into the IP addresses computers understand. And it is a massive, often overlooked security opportunity. And here is the crucial point. Get this. Over 90% of all malware and cyber attacks use the DNS system at some point in their attack chain. Just let that sink in for a second. They use it to contact their command and control servers, to redirect your users to malicious websites, and even to sneak data out of your network. It's involved in almost everything bad that happens. Now, because attackers rely so heavily on DNS, it actually becomes one of your most powerful defensive tools. By monitoring and filtering your DNS traffic, you're essentially creating an early warning system. You can block connections to malicious domains before they even have a chance to happen, effectively cutting off attacks at the very first step. It's a simple but incredibly high-impact security layer that protects your entire organization. Okay, so we've covered firewalls, segmentation, SASE, and DNS. But this isn't just about the tech. A really strong security posture translates directly into business value. It transforms technical risk into something much, much more powerful: trust. So let's bring it all home. What is the real-world payoff for investing in a secure communication architecture? Why does any of this matter beyond the IT department? Well, first and foremost, it builds trust. Your customers and partners have to know their data is safe with you. It also ensures you're ready for new regulations like NIS2. It creates true business resilience, which means you can withstand an attack without collapsing. And ultimately, it protects your hard-earned reputation and gives you a secure foundation to grow your business with complete confidence. And that brings us to the final and most critical question. Just take a second to think about your own organization. Right now, how confident are you in the security of your communication pathways? Here's a quick checklist to get you started. So ask yourself, is your network properly segmented to limit the spread of an attack? Are your remote users protected with modern zero trust principles? Are you actively using DNS as a defensive layer? And maybe most importantly, can you actually see what's happening across your entire network from a single point of control? The more no's you have there, well, the more urgent the need to act. To get started or to continue your cybersecurity journey, please reach out to Cuebid. We are your expert partner in communication, data center, and security operations. Together, we can help you build cybersecurity from the ground up. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to download the complete guide over at Cuebid.se. You'll find it in our Knowledge Hub.